You're looking at the remains of when the earth shook Southern California just a few weeks ago. We're at the Big A in Anaheim, California. We're a little late getting the 1994 season started, but we're here for round number 1 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series.
Crystal clear night in California. In fact, it's a little too clear. There are no clouds to keep the temperature up. It's 50 degrees. I know anybody back in the east where it's been like 27 below will not be sympathetic. 23% humidity, and the winds is what's really making it brisk. Out of the southwest at 18 miles an hour. In fact, some of those gusts today with the Santa Anas in the area got up to around 30, 35, and it was a little breezy there for a while.
While we got a moment, let's take a lap around this course with Ivan, the Iron Man. This Toyota is coming out of the corner, accelerating very, very good. It looks good down through this, what we call the mogul section. Hard right-hand turn coming up here. Great job. The double-doubles. Right-hand turn at the immediate at the end of them. Good job navigating that corner. This is probably one of the highest part speeds of this track. This is a straightaway, and you land almost right on top of this other one. You see that coming up, and that's 1 lap at Anaheim. Great job.
Heat race number 2 of the Superlights, fast and furious. Greg Stewart and Mercedes Gonzales started on the front row. It was Stewart, the 20-year-old from Calamasa, who took the lead early and was never headed. The battle actually was back for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and the man to watch was Sean Finley. He started 4th. He made a move to get around Mercedes Gonzales. That moved him up to 3rd. The key moment in the race came late as the two of them were diving for a corner. Finley makes contact with Joe Price, and it was Price who paid the heavy price. He spins out. No ruling as far as rough driving was concerned. They said it was a racing incident. Greg Stewart went on to take the win. Sean Finley took 2nd place. Mercedes Gonzales finished 3rd. When we come back, we'll have the Superlight main event here at the 15th year of racing on the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Don't go away. Marty Reed, Walker Evans, and we are ready now for Stadium Superlight main event action here in Anaheim at round 1 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Let's set the starting grid for you. In row number 1, it's going to be Reniey Awana in the number 5 alongside of Greg Stewart. Row 2, defending champion and the winner here last year at Anaheim, Greg George, Sean Finley alongside. CJ Mears in the number 12 and Mercedes Gonzales right alongside him. In row 4, it'll be Troy Lindhorst against Tim Baker. In row 5, Jerry Meyer and Joe Price. In row 6, it'll be Lance Remmett and Shannon Millen. John Sarna and Michael Bentley make up row number 7. Andrew Buck and Keith Ellers in row number 8. Bill Waltman and John Savinsky round out our 18-vehicle field in Stadium Superlight competition. Last few vehicles pull in. Mark Canosola, upper left-hand portion of your screen. He's our starter. We're waiting for the green flag. Superlight main event. We're underway. Heading for the first turn. It's the number 5 of Reniey Awana. He's going to take the B lane. Right behind him will be Greg Stewart. Oh, the number 42, that is Andrew Buck, who performed extremely well in the early going of his heat race. Unfortunately, not doing very well right off the starting line. Reniey Awana is our early leader, but he's getting pressured by his Nature's Recipe teammate, the number 1 of Greg George. Greg George loves this Anaheim track, but Reniey's saying, wait a minute, Greg, we're going to go tooth and nail here through turn 1. They're side by side.
They certainly are. It's exciting.
Right now, Greg George takes over the lead from Reniey Awana. George taking the B lane. Awana stays with him. The smaller vehicles definitely like that B lane, Walker.
They certainly do. Doesn't Greg George know that that's his boss? He should be a little more careful on passing. At least wait for 3 laps.
Reniey Awana serves as the crew chief for the Nature's Recipe team, and we have another Superlight on its side. Cannot make out the number from that position. If we get it, we'll pass it along. That is also down in the turn 2 section. Meanwhile, we've got 6 laps remaining here in Superlight main event action, and it is still the Nature's Recipe team running 1 and 2 with Greg George first and the number 5 of Reniey Awana in 2nd place. In 3rd place is Sean Finley. Bring you up to date, that vehicle you saw on its side, that was Tim Baker, but he's back up on all 4s and underway once again. In fact, Tim's going to be coming through your picture pretty soon. He is going to be lap traffic. There is your race leader. That is Greg George. Greg is the all-time winningest main event driver in Mickey Thompson history, combining both categories that he has run. He has 19 main event wins. Ivan Stewart has 17.
And I would like to see Reniey turn into lane A right now.
Well, he didn't.
He didn't.
You going to talk to him after this is over?
Well, certainly. Why not?
Basically, you're saying, hey, he's got nothing to lose.
Yeah, you can't pass him if you're just following him. So let's try something different. Let's see if we can make something else work.
Well, we're starting to come into lap traffic now. They're running up on Bill Waltman. He's the number 99. Waltman does the sporting thing, moves over, and lets the race leader by. 4 laps remaining. Reniey Awana now getting around Waltman. There is race leader Greg George. George just running a superb race. Remember, last year he won here at Anaheim, then followed it with a win at San Diego, finished second at Seattle. He also won 2 more times last year at the Rose Bowl and at Salt Lake City. So 4 victories and a second place in 10 races last year.
Well, you can certainly see why he's doing it. He's very smooth. He's got that car totally under control, and it seems to work at any time here, any spot he wants.
The battle now is heating up for second place. There you see him coming into your screen. There's race leader Greg George, but Reniey Awana is under attack from Sean Finley. There is race leader Greg George. That is Bill Waltman lap traffic. There you see the yellow vehicle closing in on that corner. That is Sean Finley, and he has got a battle going for second place with Reniey Awana. But Finley, we can tell you, as you look at our race leader, just spun it out. There is the number 5 of Reniey Awana. Finley spun himself out.
He just got a little aggressive and got into Awana.
So Awana maintains second place, but he's got a long way to go if he is going to come close to catching race leader Greg George. 2 laps remaining. All kinds of lap traffic coming into play. In fact, Greg George is getting ready to come up on teammate Shannon Millen. Greg, I'll tell you what, Walker, take a look at Greg's left rear. Does that tire look like it's going down?
It does, doesn't it? Well, I think it has gone down.
I mean, it may be. I don't think it's an optical illusion. The left rear on Greg George. Oh, and all kinds of trouble. And Greg makes a great move to get around the stopped vehicle that was Jerry Meyer sitting in the middle of the racetrack. But Greg George looks to be slowing. I think that left rear, it's not flat, but it's certainly, he's under attack right now from both Reniey Awana and Sean Finley. That is Finley.
Finley's definitely putting the pressure on him. I don't know if it's the tire or something has happened in the suspension.
It looks like that left rear is slowly but surely going down, and he's under extreme pressure from Finley. And Finley's going to get around him. And now George ties up Finley, and they lock horns. And now that's going to allow Reniey Awana to take the checker flag as Finley stalls right in front of Greg George. So Reniey Awana wins. Greg George finishes second, and Sean Finley, for some reason, lost all power right in the home stretch.
I think the bump actually killed the engine.
So Sean Finley is dead in the water. Greg George is furious because he couldn't get around Sean Finley. You see him driving off, and there's Reniey Awana saying, thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. This portion of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Anaheim event is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
Superlight winner Reniey Awana. What happened out there? Did you know they were going to tangle and you were going to take advantage of it?
I guess you could almost call that teamwork, huh? I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that. And I'll basically take it just about any way I can at that point.
What's a good way to start the season?
It is.
And here are the guys around you who did all the work.
That's right.
All right,
Those guys do all the work.
Give them the congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
We're in San Diego, California at the home of the Padres and the Chargers. But tonight, it's the home from round number 2 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. 700 million pounds of dirt have been trucked in for this big event.
Look at heat race number 1 in the Superlights. You know, we focus on the Nature's Recipe team because it's not very difficult when you have 5 vehicles out there. But this is not the kind of focus that Mercedes Gonzales would want. She takes an end-over-end spill right on the very first lap. It hands the lead to 51-year-old team leader Reniey Awana. He takes the lead and holds on to it until there were 2 laps remaining. Teammate Greg George worked his way past front row starter Stacy Fay for second. with 5 laps to go. And then it was a race between the two Nature's Recipe teammates. With 2 laps to go, they were side by side heading for turn 1. Greg George made the pass, and he made it stick. From that point on, it was to see who would finish in second and third. And it would end up being Greg George first, Reniey Awana second, and Stacy Fay third. Heat race number 2 of the Superlights had all kinds of action. For Andrew Buck, it was all behind him as he got a great start from his front row position, took the lead, and really was challenged a couple of times, but never had the problems that everybody else did behind him. Casey Mears, the son of Roger Mears, passes Keith Ellers for second place. And then with 3 laps to go, watch what happens to CJ. He makes the wrong decision, and it ends up allowing Tim Baker to move around CJ to take second place. That wasn't the end of it, however, as with less than 2 laps to go, Casey Mears ends up going almost all the way over. He makes a nice save to recover and hold on to his third position. Andrew Buck came home with the win. Tim Baker finished second. Marty Reed, Walker Evans, Mike Anson with you at Jack Murphy Stadium, and we're ready now for the Superlight main event. 8 laps, and on the front row, there you see him, Casey Mears, the son of Roger Mears. He's only 15. He's in his 3rd season of racing. Alongside will be Stacy Fay. In row 2, Tim Baker and Reniey Awana. Row number 3, Andrew Buck and Greg George. They were the heat race winners. Rick Marshall and Lance Grimmett in row 4. Row 5 will be Michael Bentley and Rick Geiser. Row 6, Troy Lindhorst and John Savinsky. Row 7, Todd Whitman and Steve Cobb. Alan Yaros and Keith Ellers make up row 8. Row 9 is Mercedes Gonzales and Joe Price. And row 10, rounding out the 20-vehicle field, Mark Prince and John Sarna. Walker, as we get ready for the start of this race, if you're Casey Mears, he's won 1 heat race in his young racing career. What are you thinking about?
Getting a good start, getting into that A lane as quick as possible.
Green flag flies. We're underway, and Casey Mears gets run into, but he manages to keep the vehicle moving forward. Tim Baker got into him a little bit. Now the question will be, can he hold the lead? Stacy Fay comes out in second place. Casey Mears, Stacy Fay, and Tim Baker. Oh, Baker does an endo, and then keeps going, but he's lost his helmet. His helmet actually came off. Baker's going to have to stop and put it back on. I'm sure stewards are going to make him do that. He probably already has it on, but it's cost him a lot of position. Casey Mears, Stacy Fay, and now moving into 3rd place with a big run is Reniey Awana. Awana on the A lane. Casey Mears took the B lane, and he's coming out with a big lead. Casey Mears doesn't even turn 16 until we're in Seattle at our next event.
That's an interesting story itself. The Mears family have started them young, don't they?
They certainly do. In fact, he is in his 3rd full season of Superlight racing, and he's already won 1 heat race. So he could still do it at age 15, which I believe would make him the youngest winner, but he's going to get some pressure because moving there is the number 1 of Greg George. It looks like he's going to get around Stacy Fay.
Well, this is definitely a perfect class to start to get, you might say, involved in stadium-type racing. This is the place.
Greg George has taken over 2nd place from Stacy Fay. She's 3rd. 4th place is the number 5 of Reniey Awana. Right now, it is a Nature's Recipe 1, 2, and 4 position. And CJ Mears opens it up. His full name is Casey J. Mears. He likes CJ. He takes the B lane.
His confidence looks real good. I just saw him do a double that he hadn't been doing in his earlier heat race, so I think he's feeling good, the car's working good, and he's got good confidence, and that's what it takes.
Right now, there he goes. He takes the double, makes it. But Greg George, the man who has won more races in stadium off-road history than any other driver, and holds the record here in the Superlight division as well, is closing down on Casey Mears. 4 laps remaining. Greg George has 13 career wins in Superlight competition. Casey Mears has none. He's going to feel the pressure soon.
He certainly is, and Greg George is working on him.
Now that is Reniey Awana in front of Stacy Fay. That is third and fourth positions on the race course. We'll keep you posted as you're looking at that battle going on. CJ Mears manages to hold on to the lead, but here comes Greg George. I'm surprised that Greg has not been able to reel him in any quicker.
Well, both cars come out of the same crew, same Nature's Recipe. I would bet they have the same kind of power. They both handle the same. We're looking at driving techniques right here.
Well, here comes Greg George. The battle is plumbing to a head here. 3 laps remaining. He makes the double, so does Greg George. CJ Mears. Down through turn 7. Lap traffic's going to play a role in this before we get done with this race. There'll be 2 laps remaining this time by, and he still has about a 7-vehicle length lead.
Well, it certainly will, Marty. And I'll tell you what, here Greg George is making a different move. He's using the A lane, something a little different.
Well, and here comes lap traffic to play. Can CJ get around them? The lap traffic has allowed Greg George to close in. And Greg makes the double. CJ holds the lead by taking the tight line through turn number 6, now through 7. 3 more lap vehicles coming into play. CJ, there you get a good close-up view of him. White flag is out. He goes to the outside to get around some of this left track and then cuts back inside. A great move. And it forces Greg George to take the B lane. And this could be the race right here for CJ Mears. It could be the move of the race.
Well, it certainly looks good for him. It really does. He's coming to come out. Oh, side by side almost.
He manages to take the double. He's in front of teammate Greg George. Oh, but he opens the door. He can't block it off. Now it's a drag race, and Greg George is going to take the race away from CJ Mears. He's got 1 turn to go. That's the experience, and that's what's going to be the difference in this great race at San Diego. Nature's Recipe finishes 1-2. Greg George first, and CJ Mears second. Catch your breath. Stay with us when we come back. We'll have more off-road racing from San Diego's Jack Murphy Stadium. We're in the Pacific Northwest, where Mount Rainier casts its shadow over the city of Seattle, and we're inside the Seattle Kingdom for round number 3 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Let's take a lap at Seattle. We're coming up over the start. Head down to turn 1. This is your first big decision, Walker.
Well, it certainly is. You got an A lane or a B lane. We chose the A lane with our camera car, riding with Rob.
All right, McCachran takes us on the farther but quicker line, and as you come out, this is where you empty together, and sometimes there is a little contact in this sport, and you get an idea what that is like. Now, this takes you over a set of jumps down into a 180-degree left-hander into turn 5.
And that is where we start into the high-speed part of our course around here.
Takes you into turn 6, which is a huge sweeper, and all the way around, and show you how quick it is at this course. We are back at the finish line already. Now, if you make a mistake and get called for a penalty, right there in front of you, on to your right, is the Triton penalty box area. And you go there, and it's usually a stop-and-go penalty. And that's the one place you don't want to visit. And how would you feel if you had won your first race before you ever were allowed to drive on the highway? Well, CJ Mears did that last year at the age of 15. He just had a birthday, and Mike Anson caught up with the celebration. Mike, it's all yours.
We're here at the Kingdom in Seattle, and we're in the pits with Roger Mears and Roger Mears Jr. And Roger, you have another son who's racing for another team, and it's a very special day for him.
Yeah, it really is. CJ is finally 16. We have waited so long. He's waited a long time. He's been racing now for 3 years, so he's been 15 for 3 years.
He won his first heat race when he was 14 years old. Now he's out there racing. He's going to have a driver's license. Are you going to send him out to chase parts for you now?
You bet. We're going to put him to work now.
Roger, what about baby brother now? Is he going to jump into these cars and chase you around?
Well, I sure hope so. That'd be great, you know. I'm just happy for him. As everybody knows, when you turn 16, I mean, it's just everything. You get your driver's license, and I'm just happy for him to be 16 and happy that he's racing for Nature's Recipe. It's a good team, and someday I do hope he's in here racing with me.
Well, that would be a heck of a thing, all 3 of you out on the track together. Let's wish him a happy birthday.
All right.
Happy birthday, CJ.
CJ, right.
CJ Mears, you're the youngest of the racing clan. Today's a special day for you, right?
Yeah, it is.
How old are you now?
just turned 16.
And here's the cake.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Casey. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, Marty and Walker, it's great cake. Too bad you couldn't be down here with us. Sorry.
Well, thanks, Mike. No cake for us, no ride for you back to the hotel. Taking a look at heat race action in the super light division, this had a little bit of everything. In the early going, it was a Nature's Recipe runaway. Reniey Awana, Greg George, and CJ Mears were running 1, 2, and 3. All of a sudden, Reniey hooks the barrier at turn number 4. He collects both Greg and CJ, and the big winner in the project was Joe Price. Price from Lake Elsinore, a story in his own right. Lost the use of his legs several years ago, but it's not stopped him from being a top competitor on the Mickey Thompson Tour. In fact, he would not surrender that lead once he got it. In second place, coming back after the first spin, was Reniey Awana. Mercedes Gonzales would cross the line third in super light action. Stay with us. We'll be back with more round 3 from the Seattle Kingdom. Time now for the main event in Super Lights. 8 laps of racing. Let's set the starting field for you. On the front row, it'll be the number 12 of CJ Mears alongside of the 21 of Michael Bentley. Alan Yaros and the number 10 of Mercedes Gonzales in row 2. Row 3 is made up with Reniey Awana and Joe Price. They were our 2 heat race winners there. Greg George and Todd Whitman make up row number 4, I should say. Shannon Millen and Troy Lindhorst in row number 5. Green flag flies and we are underway. And a great opportunity for CJ Mears to celebrate his birthday in style, Walker.
That's right. It certainly is, isn't it?
He's got the front row position now. Can he hold it? His biggest competition has always been his Nature's Recipe teammates. Well, we got a bit of a jam up back in turn number 4. It involves Joe Price. So our heat race winner, Joe Price, finds himself dead last here halfway through lap number 1.
And halfway through lap number 1, CJ Mears has pulled out a pretty good little lead here. So maybe he's got something working for him.
Right now, CJ Mears is taking advantage of this great starting position and has opened up about a 10-car length lead.
And every time I look down and watch him, he's driving very smoothly, and that's what it's going to take to win a main event.
And Mercedes Gonzales is going to take over second place. There you see her behind CJ Mears. Oh, and Greg George almost goes endo.
Endoed it.
George takes over second place now as he bolts from 5th to 2nd, and he is pulling away from Mercedes Gonzales. And now there's 5 laps remaining. And now the race is, can Greg George reel in CJ Mears? Remember, it was Greg George in San Diego that took CJ away from the victory lane.
Well, it certainly was, and I hope that CJ isn't looking in his rearview mirror. I just want him looking out the front and driving his own race.
And right now, there's smoke coming from the number 1 of Greg George. He could have a problem. He's being challenged right now by his Nature's Recipe teammate, Mercedes Gonzales. They're down into turn number 5 there.
And it is smoking a lot, I might add, Marty. It could be a major factor, you bet.
Now, what do you think it is?
I'd say it's probably water, some kind of a coolant problem.
He's going to take the B lane. Mercedes takes the A lane. We'll stay on this for a second and see what happens. It looks like Mercedes may have an opportunity here. Nope. Greg George will hold on to second place, but it has allowed CJ Mears to open up a bigger lead.
And if it is a coolant problem, the motor's going to get hotter and it's going to start losing power, and CJ is going to just pull on away.
What a great storybook ending this could be for 16-year-old CJ Mears. There's the battle for second. He is running and running away.
Well, he certainly is. Even when George got loose from his traffic, it didn't seem like he was reeling in CJ like he has in the past.
Well, right now, Greg's got his hands full with teammate Mercedes Gonzales. She's dropped back a few car lengths, but it is still a sweep for Nature's Recipe. It is CJ Mears, then the number 1 of Greg George, and Mercedes Gonzales. Now, Jimmy Johnson won here last year. Of course, he's moved on to Grand National Sport Trucks. 2 laps remaining to CJ Mears' first main event win. Greg George has now taken a big lead over Mercedes Gonzales. We'll tell you that 4th place is Michael Bentley. So
CJ's definitely driving his own little race. He's just doing a fantastic job. And I'll tell you, if he can get that car across the finish line and see that checkered flag first, it's going to make that birthday present for him just second to none.
I'd love to see Roger and Carol right now. Roger and Carol Mears. I bet you they're just tickled to death. Here it is, white flag left. One more time to go.
And no one's even threatening him. So all he has to do is drive one more lap. And he's going to have the greatest 16-year-old present ever handed to him, right?
How old were you when you won your first main event?
Oh, my land. Now, if we're talking about Grand National trucks.
I'm talking about anything.
Oh. Well, I started motorcycle riding when I was around his age. Probably look back in the history books, right in that area, yes.
Well, here he is, 16-year-old CJ Mears. And he's one turn away. Checkered flag is out at age 16. Happy birthday, young man. You've earned it.
I bet that tastes better than that cake he had earlier.
Greg George will be second. Mercedes Gonzales will be third. But there's your winner, CJ Mears. And wait till you see this celebration tonight.
A lot more racing action to come from the Seattle Kingdome. Don't go away. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to round number 4 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Tonight, we're at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl in Las Vegas, Nevada. Taking a look at the weather conditions for tonight's action. High overcast skies, 75 degrees. The humidity, as you might expect in the middle of the desert, 15%. But the winds, they could be the big factor, blowing the dust all over the place, gusting to 40 miles an hour. We're going to show you highlight action now from heat race number 2, held just a little bit earlier in super light competition. And Walker, this race boiled down to 2 of our top competitors, Joe Price in the number 4 and Mercedes Gonzales in the number 10.
Well, it certainly does. Mercedes has come close a lot of times, but it just seems to elude her, gets away from her. This time she put a move on Joe Price and made it stick. Let's see it happen.
Now, these are very difficult machines to drive. They look very small, and it's the small size that actually makes them a handful.
Well, they're really agile. They're quite quick. They're really flighty, what we call flighty. And here's where it comes, right here. In tight, accelerates. Joe slides a little wide, and she runs down her and just takes the line away from him.
And after completing this pass, she would never be headed again except for victory lane. In fact, our Mike Anson caught up with her in pit lane. Mike?
Mercedes Gonzales, your first heat this year. How was it?
Oh, man, it felt so good. I've been working really hard this year, just trying to stay consistent and not make any mistakes and really just have fun out there, and it paid off tonight.
Super light main event action, 8 laps of racing. Let's set the starting field for you. On the front row, it'll be Joe Price and Rick Marshall. Then our heat winners, Mercedes Gonzales and Andrew Buck, will be in row number 2. Alan Yaros and Shannon Millen in row 3. Row 4 is J.C. Dean and Troy Lindhorst. Alex Briones, Casey Mears in row 5. Then Greg George and John Savinsky in row 6. Stacy Fay and Keith Ellers in row 7. Reniey Awana and Lance Grimmett in row 8. Kane Smead and Bill Waltman in row number 9, and Mike Bentley and Mark Prince round out the 20 vehicle field. And if you thought you heard 3 female names, you certainly did. And heat race winner Mercedes Gonzales in row number 2 is got the best shot right now. Bill Rickey waves the green flag, and racing action is underway in the main event and super light competition. Now, Joe Price, remember, we've talked about him if you've been with us before. He is a paraplegic, injured in an accident, non-racing accident, paralyzed from the waist down, does it all with hand control. He is in the lead. Mercedes Gonzales is in second place, and then the 42 of Andrew Buck bobbles just a little bit, but maintains third. So Price down through turn 4, Mercedes right behind, as we've got all kinds of action going all over the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl race course. Right now, Andrew Buck loses a little contact with the front 2. Yep. All right, Mercedes to the outside. Down into turn 2.
Well, that heat race win hasn't hurt her morale any. She's putting it right to him, isn't it? Look at this race.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, the one rap against Mercedes over the years has been whenever she's been pressured for the lead, she would have a tendency to make a mistake. So far, Walker, she hasn't had that happen.
No, and I like her attitude on charging. I mean, she is just showing Joe Price the front of her car everywhere she goes. Look at this. Whoa! And same mistake Casey made.
Back in the heat race, Casey Mears, her teammate, made the same error trying to stuff it in on the inside and gets clipped off and will fall back about 12 positions. So Joe Price is still the leader. Andrew Buck is now second, and then Alan Yaros has moved up to third. Shannon Millen is fourth.
Let's take a look and see what Mercedes did. She just got a little aggressive and stuffed it in there, and that allowed Joe Price to run on away with it.
And the white flag is out. Joe Price, the paraplegic, does not have the use of his legs. It has never stopped him. He's never asked for any special favors as he goes right for it. And down into turn number 2. He has taken every challenge and is now just 2 turns away from winning the main event. Joe Price in front of Andrew Buck closes the door nicely. And now it's down to 1 turn. Buck's going to have to come up with a miraculous move. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Joe Price. He's going to take the main event. Joe Price, your winner. Andrew Buck second. And there it is, the main event in Superlights at the Sam Boyd Silver Bowl.
And we got them strung all over the track.
In fact, we've got 8 Superlights on their sides in one way, shape, form, or another. We head down trackside with our announcer, Joe Benson. He's with Joe Price.
For the folks that are watching and listening, Joe's in a wheelchair the rest of the time. You were complete control in here tonight, weren't you?
I don't know about that, but it was sure a lot of fun.
You ran a very smooth race all the way along.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate it, everybody. Thanks.
Jan's got a trophy for you here. You put that at home? It was a long distance.
Thanks.
And a very happy winner in Superlight competition, Joe Price. Stay with us. Heat number 2 of Grand National Sport Trucks when we come back. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Salt Lake City, Utah. We're here for round number 5, the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Now let's show you highlight action from heat race number 1 in the Superlights, as this was a nature's recipe, 1-2, and watch the number 1 of Greg George. He gets out of shape as he was trying to dive underneath his teammate and crew chief, Reniey Awana. Awana tunes all these vehicles, and he tuned his just a little bit better as he was able to hold off teammate Greg George and win the heat race here in heat race number 1 of the Superlights. Time now for main event action in the Superlights here at Rice Stadium. Let's set the starting field for you. On the front row, it'll be Todd Whitman and Stacy Fay. Row 2, Greg George and Casey Mears. Row 3, Reniey Awana and Andrew Buck. J.C. Dean and Troy Lindhorst make up row 4. Row 5 is Lance Gramet and Pat Dean. Row 6 is Kane Smead and Terry Peterson. Rick Marshall and Alan Yaros in row 7. Mercedes Gonzales and Joe Price in row 8. They got a long way to go. Keith Ellers and Shannon Millen round out the 18-vehicle field. Starter Bill Rickey waves the green flag, and we are underway. Hold on to turn 1. Got one vehicle that's stalled back there. Can't pick up a number just yet. We'll sort it out for you as Greg George and the number 25 of Todd Whitman duke it out for the lead. Greg George, the man who won here last year, takes over the early lead as he makes his way through the tough rhythm section. The number 5 of Reniey Awana has jumped into second place. Todd Whitman is third, and J.C. Dean, a very surprising fourth. That's the best he's run in a main all year.
Now if he can just stay there.
Greg George. One of the interesting things about this class this year, Greg George last year dominated when he went on to his championship, but so far we have had 4 different main event winners. Joe Bird back at Anaheim, or I'm sorry, Reniey Awana back at Anaheim, Greg George at San Diego, Casey Mears at Seattle, and then Joe Price won our last event at Las Vegas. So Greg George trying to become the first 2-time winner this year.
Well,
oh, no.
No, he's broken axle.
Greg George
Yep.
has snapped an axle, and it will not be a double for Greg George.
The car will not accelerate in a straight line. It just kept turning to the wall, and he had to drive it off the track.
So now that opens the door for Reniey Awana. Reniey won back at Anaheim, and last year he finished second here to Greg George. So let's set it for you. It's Reniey Awana first, Todd Whitman second, and Casy Mears, CJ Mears third, and the number 42 of Andrew Buck in fourth. There goes Reniey Awana. Interesting story about that Nature's Recipe team. Reniey Awana, of course, on the point right now, is 51 years old. And CJ Mears in third place. He's the youngest member of the team. He just turned 16 back at Seattle. In fact, won his first main event on his birthday at Seattle. CJ seems to be having trouble getting through that last corner there and getting the power back down to the track. Awana taking a very tight line through turn number 3, not allowing anybody to open the door and move through. Again, through turn number 4. And the white flag is out. So there is 1 lap remaining for Reniey Awana, the 51-year-old from Cerritos. He finished second here last year to his teammate Greg George. He may become the first 2-time winner in Superlight competition. He won our round number 1 action at Anaheim. And it looks as though he's 2 turns away from making it his second win, and this certainly will help him in the points. He came into tonight's action second to Greg George, 154 to 136. So this championship is far from over.
CJ's making a race out of it.
CJ Mears trying for second. I don't think he's going to do it. Nope. It's going to be Reniey Awana first, Todd Whitman second, and CJ Mears third. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk to our winner after this. Round number 5 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series here in Salt Lake City. Let's go down to Victory Lane. Our announcer there is Joe Benson.
Look at the sparkle in your eye. You said at the autograph session you were going to be back up here.
I needed to be back out here. Got to teach these kids what to do.
That was pretty tight behind you there. Were you aware of the nudging that was going on?
At the last lap, I was. I got a little nudge right there.
But the rest of it, you were in complete control.
No hesitation there, huh?
Yeah, there you go. Reniey, your second main event this year, second main event in a while. You got to be feeling really good.
You can't imagine. It's been a dry spell for about 3 years. I've been trying to keep all the rest of the guys going. Well,
I'm bad for them.
Yeah, I'm keeping myself going.
Las Vegas at night, and we're ready to go off-road racing. It's round number 6 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series.
Thank you, Marty. Let's start at the start-finish line and go around this track. The first thing the driver's going to see is a 180 turn. Very smooth, high speed. Down the backside, 1 major jump to contend with, and a hard left-hand turn. Back over a set of jumps, and then a right-hand turn coming right back the same direction they came from. And then, as they exit this track, they've got the big decision. Do I take the A lane or the B lane? As they come down the A lane, they've got to deal with this 3-foot jump. They're going to come up this 3-foot jump, and they're going to land some 25 feet down here on the stadium floor. This is very reminiscent of the LA Coliseum. After all, Mickey Thompson had us doing that years and years ago, and it was very exciting. Now, Danny Thompson has brought it right to Las Vegas. The drivers and the fans are going to love it.
It's round number 6 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Tonight, we're in Las Vegas, Nevada, and let's pick up heat race action. Heat number 1 of the Superlights. What a great battle between teammates. Casy Mears on the right side of the screen, and there, Reniey Awana.
Well, here comes CJ Mears right down out. Great shot coming out of there. Reniey also. Reniey sees him on the gas too hard, and look what's happened.
Now, Reniey was in the points championship race, and at this moment, it looked like his points title hopes would be over, as CJ Mears would go on to take the heat race win. There's Casey, the son of Roger Mears, taking the double checker flag. In heat race number 2, Greg George had the big opportunity. He could widen his lead, but all of a sudden, his machine breaks, and that lets Reniey Awana back into the championship race. Now, Andrew Buck took over the lead at this point. We thought he would cruise to victory, Walker, but it was not to happen.
No, it certainly wasn't. He made a mistake, drives up on the barrier, has to back up and get himself free.
And that opened the door for number 10, Mercedes Gonzales. She would end up winning the heat race, setting up the action as we would go to the finals. Ready now for the Superlight main event. Let's set the starting grid for you. On the front row, it'll be Keith Ellers and Lance Grimmett. Joe Price and Shannon Millen in row 2. And our heat race winners, Mercedes Gonzales and Casey Mears in row 3. Ron Buccieri, Stacy Fay in row 4. Then Alex Briones and Troy Lindhorst in row 5. Todd Whitman and Andrew Buck in row 6. Steve Cobb, Chris Barella in row 7. Bill Waltman, Rick Marshall in row 8. Kane Smead, Douglas Goodenough in row 9, and Shannon Powell and Greg George in row number 10. And Greg George does make it for the main event, but points leader Reniey Awana does not. So an opportunity for Greg George, who broke in his heat race, to manage to score some points. But Casey Mears could be the guy to pick up the most. Mears, who came into this heat, or this main event, in 3rd place with a win, could put himself right back into the title hunt with 1 race remaining.
Well, that's what's so great about these little bitty Superlights. You never can tell which is what's going to happen until it's all over. After all, the last heat race, the last lap, boom, they come right back in, and like what Shannon Millen did, put herself back up.
Right now, Keith Ellers has got the early lead as they come over the Chevy Thunder Super Truck the first time. And Casey Mears has shot into 2nd place. 3rd place right now is Lance Grimmett. And Grimmett, that number 50, that is an antique as far as Superlights.
And here it is, right up in 3rd place, running with them again.
In 4th place is Joe Price. And a good battle going on right now as Casey Mears is beginning to close down on Keith Ellers. And Casey looks so good in his heat race, you get this feeling, Walker, it's just a matter of time before he's going to pass Ellers.
Well, he really did look smooth in his heat race, the one that he won. And I'll tell you, that's a knack of the Mears. They always find those nice lines and learn how to drive them in a hurry.
Well, here we go over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump, and Ellers still has the lead, but it is going to be close. It's about, let's say a bumper width. CJ, Casey on the outside. Can he make it stick? Can he get the shot down on the inside? Ellers has got to move over and protect his position, and he does. The battle for the lead is still going on. There is Keith Ellers, 2nd place, Casey Mears. Just to let you know, Greg George has moved up to 7th spot. So Greg George is passing people left and right.
And you know how he's doing it, Marty? He is not lifting, he's making the double down here, and not another one of the cars is doing that.
And here goes a pass for the lead, as on the A-B lanes, Casey Mears has shot into the lead. Earlier this year, in Superlight competition, Casey Mears won his first main event on his birthday, which was March 12th back in Seattle. Oh, and that's Keith Ellers. Ellers snaps the wheel and goes over. So Keith Ellers has got a big problem. Now Mercedes Gonzales, just to the left of there, was a 3-vehicle traffic jam between Lance Grimmett, Mercedes Gonzales, and the number 14 of Alex Briones. So that's going to shake up our leaderboard here at Las Vegas. White flag has just been given to the race leader. That gives you an idea. Look at them. The lead is just huge. They were coming over the Chevy Thunder Super Jump, 2nd and 3rd place, that is, when the white flag was displayed to Casey Mears. And now Greg George is all over 2nd place, Joe Price, and there is the shot of Casey Mears. We'll keep you posted on 2nd place. Here it is. As Greg George, lap traffic again, has held him up. He was going to do that inside undercut move and was not able to pull it off. Now it's a drag race. And there is Greg George into 2nd.
And notice how he did it?
Over that double.
That's right.
You know what? You keep this up, somebody will think you'll know a lot about off-road racing. Here's the winner. Casey Mears makes a big statement and a big move in the points. Picks up 20 for the win. And 2nd place to Greg George. What a rebound for him after a disastrous heat race. 3rd place to Joe Price. Stay with us. We'll talk to our winner right after this. Back in Las Vegas, Nevada for the 6th round of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Let's go to victory lane. Joe Benson is caught up with Casey Mears.
Congratulations.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah! Woo!
Second main event win this year.
Hey, man, this is awesome. This is the first time I've got fast qualifier, won a heat race, and won a main. I took it all. This is awesome.
You looked great out there.
Thank you very much. Hey, I got to thank Nature's Recipe, BFG. Everything was great. The team really hustled tonight on Greg's car. They did a great job. I'm really proud of them.
This has been a presentation of Mars Incorporated in association with ESPN.